Yo, 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 everyone! It's your boy Ken Dog, Kenny, whatever you want to call me these days. We have made it to week 13. Oh, we are at that home. We are literally like rounding third. Like we are literally at the 99-yard line, the 1 yard line, whatever line you want to call it. We are right there at the home stretch of the playoff run. Um, I am joined today by our 2024 fantasy champ, and the man who's always fashionably late with his payments, but he still pays them. Corey, say what's up to the people.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Well, thank you, Corey, for joining me on this week 13 episode here. We got not many left of these, so for the
Yeah,
year at
dude.
least. But yeah, so we got some headlines to talk about today. So some headlines, trade deadline, buzzer beater trade,
Buzzer.
and the question of the video: do we have a new wide receiver one in Dallas? Interesting.
Mm,
That's one that we'll have to talk about when we get to the
yeah, for sure.
matchups.
For
All
sure.
right. But starting over to our standings here, we have a new leader in the East. Dan has taken over by yours truly, Corey. There, 8-4 there by a game back. Still a very competitive um, East division here, and Corey, looking at this division here, what are your initial thoughts here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, our division has always been tough. We've got, this year finally Nick shows up, but usually he's the down at the bottom, and it's usually the rest of us competing. But Nick
Hmm.
showed up, so he's up there. So our whole division is, even with Vinny down at 5-7, doesn't do it justice with how strong our division has been.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And this one, these next 2 weeks, we got some really big, crucial matchups this week
Huge.
for sure. Like literally, like play it to determine like playoff spots almost at this point. So,
Yeah.
um, and especially with um, you know, with Vinny being at 5-7, it's literally a must win now at this point. He's got to win
Hmm.
out. Um, so yeah, so Dan on a little hot streak. He's won four in a row. So especially with all the injuries he's had with Daniels and Bucky, he seemed to still pull out those wins. So
Yeah, he's definitely come back strong. I knew Dan was never too far behind me. I was trying to make these trades to, you know, I've been
yeah,
trying to do the waiver wire as best I can.
yeah,
I should have started Evans last week, man, or the week before. I knew I
yeah,
should have. I
yeah.
picked him up for nothing.
Ah, it happens. It happens. That's fantasy life.
Yeah.
But then looking over on the west side here, BMAC, all year you've been tailing me by that one game, and it's looking like the division will be between you and I for the winner, I should say. So we'll see what happens these last 2 weeks, but um, they pretty much I'm pretty much guaranteed I think a spot at this point in the playoffs. I mean they gave me the X and they took it away, so there must be some path I can't make, but that's very unlikely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's because if everybody, like, if Shane and Kazi win out and BMAC wins out, you lose out,
yeah.
and then there has to be like a point differential.
Point thing, yeah.
Yeah,
So there's probably something like that, but I mean the odds of that happening is
it's
is is
it's
it's
in
pretty rare.
low.
But you know what? Crazier things have happened.
Hmm.
Um, so what words do you have to say? Because it looks like here Trayvon and Vinny have to pretty much win out, and this you and Nick and Shane pretty much have to lose out. What words do you have for Trey and Vinny here to try to
I
try to
I
get these wins
dude,
and make
my biggest thing with Trey is, dude, Trey's got so unlucky, dude. His
yeah,
his team his team was so good. Trey always drafts a good team. He always has a couple waiver wire pickups here and there. Trey's always a solid player in here, and he just got unlucky this year. I mean, his
yeah,
his boy spitting on players,
yeah,
and he still beat me. But
yeah. Yeah, that was rough. That was just very unfortunate.
If he
And
would have had Rasheed Rice all year, he probably would be one of the top people in the division.
oh, for sure, and especially with Joe Burrow, I'm thinking like
Yeah, that one hurt.
with Chase and Brown starting off very poor, and surprised nobody even made an offer for Chase at that point as a sell as a buy low
We were
type type.
me and Trey were talking, and we were talking on Rasheed Rice. I was trying to get him when he was losing a couple games, try to see if but he stuck to his guns. He knew he was
Yeah,
going to come back, so
good,
we'll
and
give it to him.
yeah. So, so very competitive. This year is definitely a lot more competitive. I feel like at this point last year we already had like a couple people like solidified in the playoffs. So definitely
Hmm.
this year, it's a big difference, and a lot of that probably has to do with the 24-hour pick selection. People have time now to make picks and things like
Yeah,
that. So
and one person I feel terrible for is Tybo. Dude, he
yeah,
picked his. He's usually a better fantasy player than this. He picked the. I mean, I think his team's pretty solid. He's just had
bad luck.
unlucky matchups.
Yeah,
Unlucky matchups.
yeah. So yeah, but yeah, guys, keep it strong here. This is going to be a good last 2 weeks. So let's move to our recent activity here, and especially our little
Whoa, what's that?
11:59.
11:59. The buzzer.
The buzzer beater trade between Corey and myself. We did a Rome for Michael Wilson trade here. Definitely reasons for accepting it in my just for me is I definitely could have used the wide receiver help for sure, more of a flex option honestly, and my thinking is down the line, whenever Marvin Harrison comes back, hopefully, that'll take away some Michael Wilson targets. Even though Michael Wilson's balling out right now with Brissett, so those are the reasons I look toward the future for me. But I thought it was very 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 nice offer from you from you, Corey.
Yeah, so my main reason for this is, I mean, Rome is a huge boom or bust guy, and
Hmm.
I've always shied away from them in
Yep.
fantasy. I mean, he's either putting 20 points or he's putting
Yep.
5 to 8. So he's really really big boom or bust, and he lost me last week.
Yeah.
He had 5 points
Yeah.
or
For
eight
sure.
points.
For
So
sure.
I just couldn't do the boomer bust guy
Yeah.
anymore. So I was willing to take Michael Wilson. I tried to sell high on the name
Yeah.
because Rome, everybody knows how
Of
good he was
course.
beginning
Oh
of the
yeah.
season, and then how good he was at the midway point. But then once his bye hit, he's been just all over. Caleb's been hitting everybody,
Yeah.
getting everybody involved. He's not force
Even DJ
feeding
Moore
Rome.
lately too,
Yeah,
actually, which
DJ
has
Moore,
been
he's been performing better. I mean,
yeah.
the only after his bye, the only two games that Rome's played well in is the Giants and Baltimore. Besides that, he's
Yeah.
two catches for 50 yards, or if
Yeah.
he doesn't get that touchdown, he's hurting.
Yeah. He's more like a touchdown dependent kind of guy almost,
Yeah,
really. Yeah. Yeah.
he's a
No,
big play.
totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. So we'll see what happens. It could this could affect. We'll see how it affects both of us. In a
Hmm.
positive way, or maybe it just affects us both in a negative way. Well, we'll see. So yeah, that was the buzzer beater there, and then after that, there really wasn't too much waiver wire action. Just a couple defenses picked up. Uh, the Devin Neal pickup with a Kamara injury.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's he's a solid play. He's a solid rookie too. Honestly, I like
Yeah,
he's explosive. I mean, granted, it's the Saints, so how much are you really going to get out of them? With that offense. But I mean, besides, I will say though, Olave sneakily being a top 10 wide receiver this year. Who
I love
knows?
Olave, bro. His brain is just mush at this point, though. He's just out there running.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but otherwise it was just defenses really, and I just had picked up Jaden Higgins just cause, and yeah, and then after that, it looks like BMAC picked up just kickers. Yeah, so nothing really. This was probably one of the quieter waiver wire weeks. But I think at this point, there's really nobody. There was no major injuries last week besides Kamara, so that really it kind
Yeah,
of affected the waiver wire, and there's really nobody else out there that's really worthy of grabbing. So
yeah.
and Nick drops Brock Purdy. Yep, I don't blame you, my man.
Can
That
we
guy.
just talk about Brock Purdy for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
This guy's making $53 million to play worse than Mac Jones. Are we kidding?
I mean, it was his second game back. I mean, second game back. I know, granted, it was against they played against Carolina, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Carolina, their pass defense has actually been pretty solid this year. They're
They
they're
have a
not.
good pass
Yeah,
defense, but not for a $53 million quarterback to
yeah,
be.
that's true. Especially having all the weapons available to them, pretty much.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't like they were all hurt or they're all
yeah,
banged up.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they got to buy next week anyway, so I mean, at this point, you might as well just keep them on the waiver wire. But we'll see what the schedule is like after that. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it'll, maybe somebody will scoop them up or whatever. But
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's the activity here, and now we'll definitely move on to our matchups from last week here, which were a lot of high. I mean, I would say a lot of players high score, a lot of high scoring matchups too. A lot
Yeah.
of players balled out. I want to start off with what was considered the match of the week per se, and I think it was this one here, the Shane versus
Yeah.
Dan here,
While it being the lowest scoring, one of the lower scoring ones too.
which is interesting. Yeah, so congrats Dan here with an 11-point win. Winning four in a row. He's on a hot streak now. And honestly, really, it was just Dak. I mean,
Yeah.
Dak with 27. I mean, he's been balling. Honestly, this year it's just CD dropping passes at this point, which is going to what we talked about. Do we think that George Pickens is now the wide receiver one in Dallas? What are your
Listen,
thoughts on this, Corey?
listen. So I once that CD went out and I saw that George Pickens was just, I mean, their connection was there. I mean, I will say me and Shane have always been a big George Pickens guy. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
was against him in the draft
Mm-hmm.
because because he was always, he had the off the field stuff, his attitude
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So people weren't very high on him, but his talent was there. And me and Shane both saw that. We wanted him to go to the Giants. The Steelers picked him up, so we were pretty shocked there. And then once he wasn't getting the production, we said he just needed a viable quarterback.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott may not be the best quarterback, but he's definitely viable. So I mean, he
Yep.
gets his receivers the football.
Yep.
Um,
For
and
sure.
I think George Pickens has worked himself into that top 5 conversation just this year.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. He's
I
number
think,
he's number two in receiving yards right now in the
yeah,
NFL. So
yeah. I mean, I think he's moved into that conversation where JSN has moved into as well.
yeah,
That George Pickens may not only be the number one player on his team, might be the only, but he's also maybe arguably top 5 in the league.
yeah. You could probably say at this point the duo between CD and Pickens right now is probably the best in the NFL. Like 1A, 1B. It has to
Yeah,
be. I mean,
yeah, I think the only arguable ones are the obvious,
yeah,
Puka and
of course.
Devontae
Right, right,
or Jamar and T Higgins, but they
right,
haven't played well this year.
right.
So I
Absolutely.
mean, I think the one that's most competitive to this year would definitely be the Rams, though.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and with JSN, like he's by himself. Like I mean, Cup isn't doing anything, and so like the fact that Pickens is doing this production with the offense that they have with CD and Ferguson, in the mix, like
Yeah,
that's pretty incredible. So, yeah, I think it definitely, it's. And then the coach was saying Thursday, oh, we're gonna get CD some plays, get him open to try to throw off the Chiefs. I don't. Yeah, nah. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know
And
what he's.
my biggest thing for you is right. Do you pay George Pickens at the
Yes,
end of this year?
you pay him. You do not tag him. You pay him.
Because
There.
that's the biggest thing. Are you going to become the Bengals?
Yeah.
Paying all these offensive guys, and
Yes.
you have nothing on defense.
Yes. Well, we did a little defensive stuff, with the trade deadline and
Mm-hmm.
getting Quinn in and Logan Wilson, and we got Overshown coming back. So I
Hook
think
'em.
that I think we pay Pickens and then draft defense in the draft. That's what I think should happen.
Yeah, I know.
So
I agree.
yeah.
Hook 'em horns legend, DeMarvion Overshown. Hook 'em.
Yeah. So But yeah, so shout out Dak there, 27. Everybody else though, I mean, very subpar. I think T Higgins also, he is going to be out this week. I think he had suffered a concussion, but because it's a short week with Thanksgiving, um, he's going to be out, which is kind of a big hit to to Dan's team, just because even with Chase out that one game, he only had 8 points. So,
Yeah.
um, his kicker did well though, and 13. So, with Seattle being productive, he's reached number one. So, and then we talk about it every week, but Bijan, he's just
Hook 'em.
14, 30, 10, 17. I mean, it's like he has games of 30, then he gets you games of 15. I mean, it's still Bijan, but I feel like, you know, you never know what you're gonna get out of him now. And now with Kirk
Yeah.
at the helm, what's gonna happen? So
Yeah, the biggest thing with Kirk being out is Penix is check down Charlie, so he
yeah,
doesn't Bijan doesn't get those simple check downs. And can we just talk about at the end of that game, why are they handing it off to Tyler Algier to try to ice it? He
yeah,
got 6 straight carries, and Bijan's standing there on the sideline waiting to go in.
yeah.
He
It's
came in out of 7 carries, he got one, and he
hmm
ran for 9 yards and didn't touch the ball for the rest of the game.
it's so strange. It really is weird how they're with their offense what they're doing, but I mean, you always love seeing a Cousins Mooney duo. That was cool to see. So
Yeah, yeah, that was
yeah.
money with two O's, baby.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, Dak's pretty much one of the reasons why Dan won. So that
He's
was
the
a
only
great,
player
great
that put up
comeback.
more than 14 points.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then looking over on Shane's side here, this was that one thing that we were questioning, and we even mentioned it in chat too, was putting the defense against your quarterback. I always stress it that you never put your defense against one of your top dogs, because it sometimes never really it's a risk. As great as the Texans defense is and got him 14 points, Josh Allen got 8. So I mean, was that one of the reasons why that Shane might have lost? I mean, not really, because Kyron only got 5, because 1 yard line Stafford always throws the ball to Devontae. I don't understand. And I
Yeah,
really feel bad. That's why one of the reasons why I traded Kyron away was this guy at the 1 yard line, every time, just throw the ball. You have one of the best running backs in the league. So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to me. But he'll bounce back as he always does. And Travion 11, Tyler Warren, yeah, and then Devontae does what Devontae does. So
yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing I understand why Shane starts the defense because
yeah,
I mean that defense is so dominant.
it is
Um,
number
and
one.
and you, yeah, the biggest problem is you just can't stop. You can't not start Josh, right?
That's true.
And you can't not start the number one defense or one of the top dogs at QB. So I mean it's a tough position, but I think you still, you know,
Just
but
roll with it.
even if he would have started the Rams, I mean they put up what like 20 something points.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean
I mean, it didn't
either
matter if
way,
he put in the Rams; he would have still lost
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So
that's what
yeah,
I'm
it doesn't
saying. So
matter.
either way,
Yeah.
it would have. I mean, they both played well as defenses. It's just when you have Wandell dropping 30
Yeah.
points in the first half, basically of that
Yeah.
game. Famous Jameis, baby.
Yeah. That's Yeah, Wandell, he's such a weird one with fantasy too, because like he's also one of those, like, I would say probably almost boom or bust in a way, sort of. I mean, lately he's kind of been consistent, but like when Malik Neighbors went out, I mean, here's a 8, 20, 15, then went down to 7, then kind of became a little more consistent. But I think now, well, with New England, I mean, that's a tough defense, so that's
Yeah, and
I think it's all the defense dependent matchup for Wandell, honestly.
yeah, and it's also Jameis is more of a pass guy. Jackson Dart, and before Cam Stadable got hurt, I mean he was
Yeah,
a big. It was a big run game.
for
It was
sure.
big run play action.
True.
Either the deep shot or it was like a little check down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough with our O line. You got to get the ball out quick sometimes, or you
Yeah.
got to get on the move. Which our O line's played a lot better this year, but still not one of the top units.
Right. Right. Exactly. So overall, gentlemen, it was a pretty good battle. Honestly, definitely the matchup of the week. Low scoring matchup of the week, but it was still a fun one to watch. So great job.
Hmm.
And now let's take a look at the. We'll do our blowout of the week here, and whew,
Oof.
uh,
Oh,
wow, this was almost a 100-point win here by BMAC here, 163 to
Addison with
85.
donut.
Whew, yeah. Let's talk about Jameer Gibbs here, man. 55. I mean, that's the highest scoring this year in fantasy. No one has topped that. So
A shocker. He's him and Ladainian Tomlinson are the only players to ever rush for 200 yards and then have 10 receptions.
whew, yeah, let's look at the stats there since you mentioned it. Yeah, 219 rushing yards, 11 catches for 45 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't get any better than that. That is
Yeah.
like, and what made it even better was that it was a competitive game, went to overtime. So
Yeah.
the fact that,
We were absolutely killing them, and
yeah,
then Giants fashion.
yeah, yeah. If this game was just a blowout, I don't think like that Gibbs has 55, but because they had to keep using him, yeah. So whatever Dan Campbell says about trying to give Monty more touches, that's some BS because Gibbs is the guy and he's literally there's they do every other drive though. When I do see the games, it's like one full drive is Gibbs, and then the next full drive is Monty. But like
Yeah.
obviously Gibbs is definitely a better player than Monty, no question about it.
Oh,
So
no question.
and he always seems to get these 45-yard touchdowns every game. So
Yeah.
it's
He's usually due for one.
yeah, and this is he has a case now to be. I mean, he was number 5 as a draft pick this year. He could probably be chosen number 1 over Bijan. I think he should be taken over Bijan. I personally think next year's draft he gets taken over Bijan.
I don't. The thing is that offense, he's always like, if you look at his numbers, he's put up great points all year,
Mm-hmm.
but he's had those weeks where he doesn't even hit 10. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I
Right.
mean, I do think that offense is so versatile. The one thing I do like about that offense is Dan Campbell never takes his foot off the
Oh
gas. He
no.
never benches his starters,
Yeah.
never pulls anybody. They could be up by 30 and everybody's still playing. So that's always a good thing for fantasy wise looking
Yeah.
at it. So even if you're blowing a team out, you don't have to worry about your guy getting pulled.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one thing to notice was no JMO, no problem, which was really interesting because he had 3 targets, but like the last few games, with Dan Campbell taking over the calls, he's been very productive. So everyone has those donut. He's actually had 2 donut games already this year, so didn't really matter to him. He could have benched. He literally could have benched half of his team. He only needed these top 4 people, and that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely just a very rough loss for Tybo here, and bright
Oh,
side was Amon Ra, but that was really it. I mean, Josh Jacobs being out hurts. Laporta out for pretty much the year. I mean, fantasy year at least.
yeah.
Mike Evans too. So he's been hit with injuries, and um, you know, it's just been a pretty rough year for Tybo for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, overall, BMAC, that was a dominating performance here. I mean, you definitely want those points too, especially if you're going to be fighting for those other spots too,
Yeah.
potentially fighting for the the top spot in the division too, because you still have a
Yeah.
shot there. So
It's just brutal how the towers have fallen
yeah,
with Tybo.
yeah,
It's
definitely,
tough because he's a good fantasy player. Just got super unlucky this year.
yeah, absolutely. But congrats, BMAC, and good luck next week, gentlemen. So we'll move to our. I mean, that really was our, I guess, nail biter was the one between Dan and the next. But we'll go with our next closest matchup here was between Vinny and Nick, which was also a pretty crucial matchup here for Vinny. Definitely wanted to win that one for sure, but
Yeah.
146, 134, high scoring game here, and Brock Purdy, very
Shit.
bad before. What was it, 3 interceptions and in the first half? It even says it right here in the first half, and that's against the Panthers. I mean, yeah, that
For
was
them to
pretty rough.
still win that game just shows how good Kyle Shanahan is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
I mean,
mean,
he's coach of the year, I think, in my opinion.
really, Shanahan? I really want to give it to either. I think Vrabel has a good shot. I
Vrabel
think,
too,
yeah.
but I mean, with all the injuries that Shanahan's had to deal with all year long,
Hmm.
I think that it's hard to go away from that 49ers.
Yeah.
Because he's Mac Jones. I mean, no Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa.
Right.
George Kittle was out all for a large
That's
chunk of
true.
the year. Jawan Jennings was out for a large chunk of the year. They still don't have Brandon Ayuk. He's just collecting money at his house. So
Yeah, he might be leaving. I think he's going to be dipping out of there.
yeah,
Um, but with all the buys that Nick had here, whew, look at that. Acham, McConkey, Herbert. He's still got the win. That shows the depth that Nick has, for his team, which is great.
especially when you have JSN.
I
It's
mean, talk about like, I mean, offensive player of the year candidate for sure. I mean, definitely. I
I
mean,
mean, he's probably. I mean, in 11 games, he has 1,300 yards. He's on pace
he's on the break
to
to
have
be
like
Megatron,
20.
right? His
Yeah,
record,
to have
right?
like
Yeah.
2,100 yards.
Jeez, it's incredible, and
And Miles Garrett's another one. He's on track to break the sack record.
he is. Yeah. What is that between Strahan and T.J. Watt? Right? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it
they
was
both.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 5 sacks away in 6 games.
5 sacks away in 6 games, and he can definitely do it for sure.
He can do it in one game. He's had
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. But yeah, JSN always putting up big numbers like that, and Hunter Henry, good showing from him, 24, ranked number 5 sneakily. I mean, I know like I talked about it with BMAC the other week that look, he's been very very 6 7 points a game and then just pops off. So he gets a nice matchup against the Giants too. So we'll see if he's starting him again. I think he might be, um, which is really nice. So that's definitely a matchup score too because Cincinnati's defense is horrific. So.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, overall, everybody else pretty standard on what they get. Ashton, finally he's starting to play a little bit better here. But the guy's such a great player, but that O line is just horrific.
Yeah, it's just it. I mean, I feel bad for Genty. I mean, Genty should have been a offensive rookie of the year candidate, and
Yeah.
just the team failed him. Not
Yeah.
he didn't fail the team.
Yep. No, I totally agree. They didn't surround him with the line that they need for him. So
And some big injuries on the offensive line hurts too.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And looking over on Vinny's side here, you know, I definitely want to ask you about the Eagles. What do you feel about the Eagles fantasy players these days? It's like it's such a weird year for them.
Yeah,
Like, what are your
I,
what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So I think that I think AJ Brown is speaking a lot of truth, but doing it the wrong way.
Okay.
Right? He doesn't say the right thing. Like doesn't say how he should say it. Yes, are they winning games? Are they? But they're just not producing as an offense. Their defense is saving them.
Yep.
You're not gonna win these games against high end opponents when you're putting up 13 points.
Yeah.
And when you put up a 21 spot against the Cowboys, which one of the worst defenses in the
Yes.
league, and
Absolutely.
then you just come in and you drop a donut in the second half, that's embarrassing as an
Yeah.
offense.
Oh,
You,
absolutely.
you
I
know,
would.
and you're
Yeah.
putting your defense in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
I mean Saquon, he's been disappointing. The only player that's really been solid has been Devonte Adams and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But I mean Devonte Smith. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Devonte.
Devontae Smith. Yeah, that's me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But he, Saquon's been a letdown, and it's not their offensive line. They've had the same offensive line. I think a large chunk of it is
Landon,
their
oh well,
also.
Landon Dickerson's been actually he wasn't hasn't he been out for a little bit or
He's
he's
been
out?
in and out of the lineup a lot
Yeah,
this year.
I
Yeah,
mean, but they showed a stat when he's out, it makes a big difference. That
yeah.
that
I mean, he's one of the top guards in the league for
yeah,
sure. But it's just it's tough to see.
No, no, I'm sorry. I said Landon Dickerson. I meant Lane Johnson. That's who I meant. I'm sorry. I meant Lane Johnson.
Well, Landon Dickerson's been in and out of the lineup as well.
Yeah. Okay. I think he's on
So
the
you
Lions though,
weren't
right?
too bad. You weren't too off.
Okay. Okay.
How about the Tom Brady Landon Dickerson?
Oh, jeez. We want to talk about Tom Brady's comment he made. Oh, jeez.
You want to repeat what he said?
You know, well, let's just say he went back to, back down to the 60s, I think. Maybe is he down south somewhere these days? I don't know, but
So what do
um,
you think? Do you think if Vinny was to make it, I mean, is Barkley still a must start?
yes, you have to. I mean, well, based on his like what running backs that he doesn't have any other running backs besides Tracy, so you have
Yeah,
to.
but
No,
in
you have
general,
to
so
start. Yeah,
you
he's
think
still
he's
a
just a
must
must
start no
start
matter
still?
what. I think he is. I mean, because there are games though, like recently I should say. I mean, he like the Giants, he had 33, so it's going to be all matchup based. Chicago, you're going to start him. Chargers, they have a great defense. You're not going to not start Saquon. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just
But is it the name now that we're going off of, or is it the production? You're just not gonna not start Saquon, yeah,
you
but it's the
just
production.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but if you don't have another running back to
No, for sure,
start,
yeah.
yeah, then
In Vinny's case, he has to, but I'm in general,
yeah,
if you had somebody even somewhat that puts up consistently 12
okay,
to 15, it's
yeah,
borderline. You think about it.
right. So let's try to compare with somebody. If you had, um, let's say if you had James Cook,
Yeah, when he was
you would,
healthy,
yeah, yeah,
I'd probably I'd probably
or
start James Cook
yeah, yeah,
or even a Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren, yeah,
I'd consider starting over Saquon. Yeah.
really, that is interesting. That
Because it's
is.
just even with Kenneth Gainwell back there where he still gets touches, it's just Saquon is. I mean, he's put up 4 or 5 points a couple times this year.
Okay. What about would you start Kyron over him?
Yes,
Really?
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't think I think too much on it
Mhm.
because at least the offense is productive over there.
Gotcha. Interesting. I like interesting takes. So you hear that, Vinny? So I mean, at this point, obviously, you're not gonna not start Saquon because you
Yeah,
don't
no,
have
he's
anybody
got to.
else.
He's
But
had to. There's no other option.
yeah, that's interesting to think about. I guess for next year, like how
Yeah,
high do you draft him? Because he was a pretty
I
his
think he
draft
was
pick drafted sixth.
oh 6. Yeah.
So that's a top draft pick right there. That's usually your first round. So um, and he's also been kind of hurt with wide receiver injuries. Have been brutal.
Drake London
Drake London,
sucks.
Garrett Wilson, Waddle and Sutton on a bye. So the fact that he had all those wide receiver injuries and it was only a 12-point game. So,
Yeah.
but interesting take. Interesting take on the Saquon. That's
Yeah.
um. All right, so we'll move on to our next matchup here. We'll do Corey. We'll do your matchup here versus
Yeah.
Trayvon here, and you know it was down to Rico, and you thought Rico was going to pop off again, but interesting stat that you made here about Rico about having if he doesn't have more than 20 carries, his production gets pretty limited. If you notice.
Yeah. So once he started, I picked him up week 5 and started him.
Yeah.
He's once he gets if he gets 20 plus touches, he's putting up a big game.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, and usually the only time they don't give him the 20 plus touches is when they're down.
When they're
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
because they don't that offense doesn't thrive off of just Bryce throwing as
Yeah.
much as they build it off the run. Even look, when he played against Atlanta, I mean, he still had 19 catches for 45 yards, but it allowed Bryce to throw for 390 yards. They have to run the football.
Yeah, yeah, his productions, about if they're doing like a run first, like if they're up, they get up, and then he, or he just breaks out for a 60-yard run or something, like he could do
Yeah,
that. So, at first, people were questioning because against Miami and Dallas having two terrible run defenses is like, oh, all right, anybody could do that, but he did it against Green Bay, who was one of the top defenses. So I mean, he's a solid player, and he's on his revenge tour, I think. Do you think that he they I don't know what his contract situation is, but do you think that Carolina signs him again, and does he take over the back like the lead? Does he keep the lead back position over
So
Chuba?
he's on a 1 year deal.
Okay.
The thing that sucks, right, is Rico has been playing leaps and beyond above Chuba, right? Even when Chuba had the starts in the beginning of
Yeah.
the year, it wasn't same offensive line, same scheme, wasn't as effective. Rico Dowdle's just more of a downhill runner, where Chuba is more elusive.
Okay.
So I think you at minimum resign him to a 1 to 2 year deal.
Maybe tag him or something like.
Yeah, because even tagging him, it's only what 12 mil.
Yeah,
10 mil.
whatever it is. Yeah.
That's not that big of a deal. Just put a tag on him.
And they
Uh,
just
that
extended Chuba too, didn't they? Didn't they like
that's
just
that's
give
the
Chuba a
yeah
contract?
that's the part that hurts. Where
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I mean it's a good. Both of them are good backs. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
They could
It-
make it a 1A 1B type situation, I mean,
yeah,
you
it's
know.
just Rico's one of those guys who grounds and pounds you, where he
Yeah.
needs the
He
carry.
probably wants a contract. I think he's going to want a contract. So if Carolina can't give that to him, he may look someplace else.
Yeah,
But when he looks someplace else, what other places you think he could probably end up that really needs a running back?
that
You know?
kind of guy. It's
Yeah,
it's tough.
yeah. It's tough. So, and like we mentioned here, yep, Pickens here with 29. Little bit of injuries here, a little calf, but I think he'll be okay. Hopefully for
He fucking better.
number two. But yeah, he's been balling out, and um,
Puka in the first half, I was projected to beat Trey by 20 points, and Puka had he had 7 catches for 97 yards in the first half.
yeah, yeah. And then
And
he
he
had
did,
he had zero. He had zero in the second half.
yeah, 0.
Jeez. Ever since his injury, his production's been, it's been, I mean, it's still been good, but it hasn't been like what he was the first like 5 weeks here, which has been,
Yeah,
very,
I mean he's getting the touches, getting the yards. He just needs to get in the end zone.
yeah.
Devontae should
He's
take it
only
every.
had one touchdown. No, no, sorry, that's rushing. He's had one, two, three. He's only four touchdowns this year, so it's been
Yeah,
Devontae at the red zone threat. So
yeah, for sure.
Puka thrives on those like 20 yard, like if he's from like the 20 yard and beyond, that's more
Yeah,
his range.
yeah,
When they do like wide receiver screens or something like that.
yeah.
So
How about Trey McBride?
yeah, Trey McBride. I mean, with Marvin Harrison being out, and you
Ever
expected
since
like you
Kyler left,
expected 30 targets a game for this guy. 10, 11, 13 the last 3 weeks, and he's been very
thank God
consistent
for
with that.
Kyler getting injured because
And
Kobe
yes,
Brissett
Jacoby
just
Brissett,
gives him
yeah.
the ball.
And talk a way to bring your name back into consideration for things. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
So, but overall, it was still a solid performance from you guys besides Rome here, and Darnell Mooney, of course, with the 16. But
and fuck Khalil Shakir, bro. He had fucking 2 points throughout the whole game. And then he gets that like catch and then thrown tossed back to him that counts for a catch and took it
Khalil
for.
Shakir,
Yeah,
yeah, with Keon Coleman out and Kincaid, I mean, he was the only guy, and
yeah.
they still lost, but he had a great game, and Rice, we already know
You
how
expect that from Rice. Dude, he gets
yeah.
like 10 catches a game, bro.
Yeah, he's 141 yards and 12 targets, 8 catches, averaged 17. Oh my
That's
god, it's
insane.
insane. Um,
I'm saying
and,
Trey would have had that production all year. Maybe
yeah,
he's top 10.
exactly. With the suspension, it really helped. And ETN's starting to make his way here. The last few games have been very productive. So, um, going up against Tennessee this week should have an even better game. So, um, yeah, he had a pretty good performance from everyone but Diggs. I mean, his defense got him 15, and
Yeah,
on his bench he let Kareem Hunt, but you're not going to start any running back from the Chiefs. They're such throw heavy. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it was just his guys just balled out. I think the difference maker was Shakir though. I think him
yeah.
having 17 really, he won by 16. So,
And Caleb going over.
Caleb
Like it's
21,
that
yeah,
Pittsburgh, I thought he was gonna be right around that 17 mark, which would have helped. But
yeah, but That's fantasy life for you, you know.
There's room. Go enjoy him with that 8.3.
But good job, Trey. Way to get this. This was much needed win for you. So, because if you lost, you
He
would have
was
been
done.
out. But you're staying alive. And then the final matchup between Ant and myself, and I thought that Ant was going to have this with Emmanuel Wilson at first. I was a little worried, but then
Dude,
it
he
came
picked
to.
him up before I could pick him
I
up.
know he's
Oh
really good
shit!
about that. I'm telling you, he's really good.
Because he's always at the fuck. Yeah.
um, Jacoby Brissett here, though, I just he lately has been absolutely on a tear, and he's been on a think about it, like his name is coming back, which is really
Yeah.
interesting, and they're starting him over Murray, um, which is just incredible.
How
But
about
overall, I mean,
Nico
Nico,
being passed around like a wet napkin?
kind of tell me about it, but with CJ being out again, see what happens. And I'm happy to see that run block Kittle is no longer he's being used actually in the offense. So, and then here's your boy that you got, Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
So he's been target fiend the last 2 games. So yeah, but overall, I'm happy with my performance of my guys, and it got me the win. And Ant, looking over on your side here, Lamar. Oof, that is a rough rough outing for Lamar the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's been honestly very just fantasy wise hit or miss.
Fantasy, yes, yeah, they've won 5 straight. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
um,
Production wise, it's just
yeah,
he's just doing whatever it takes to win.
yeah, and I think one of the disappointments of the year is Jay Jettas for
I
sure.
wouldn't give him up for fucking anybody. I would not. I would not want to take Justin Jefferson, bro.
Yeah.
Me and
Definitely
Ty
being
both
drafted
talked
third
about it.
overall too. I
Yeah.
mean, there were so many other guys. I mean, you can't blame him, but J.J. McCarthy's just not the guy. I just don't think he's the guy.
I mean, I've talked to Tybo about this too. You know, being the Vikings fan, I like JJ. He's just hopefully he can bounce back. He's just been very inaccurate. You know,
Yeah,
he's got the poise. He's got certain things about him. He's got certain traits that you look for. He's got to figure it out. He's making Kevin O'Connell very limited in play calling, making him very predictable because
yeah,
he can make the certain throws right now.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens next year. you know,
This just in, Dart is practicing today.
do you think that they go after a quarterback?
After you let Sam Darnold walk, I don't think you go for a quarterback just yet because
Okay,
you you make that move, letting Darnold walk, that for you to expect JJ's ceiling to be higher, and you didn't
okay.
expect that in his first year starting.
Yeah. No, I understand. I think they should at least look to a quarterback. I mean, at least some type of vet, at least to like, because right now I mean, I don't know who their backup is, but
It was Carson Wentz, but he's out for the year.
yeah, I mean, you don't really have that leadership, that like that veteran QB to kind of like show you the ropes, and I mean, you should have to be shown the ropes. You're a starting quarterback in the NFL, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
it's
J-
still his first
Russell
full
Wilson
season,
helped
you
start.
know. So
Yeah, it's tough.
it's tough. It's tough. And we've said this about Ant's team pretty much, all year. Is it's not a bad team that he has. He has the right people. They just haven't been, with AJ Brown not being a top 5 wide receiver this year. It's just the year.
Yeah,
It's
Jetta's kick him third overall to be what the
to be
20th.
13. Yeah, I mean,
It's tough. Averaging 13 points a game at
yeah. When he would drop what 25 a
like it was
game
nothing.
usually, something like that.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. So it's a rough year for Ant. But he'll bounce back next year for sure, and we'll see. But
2-10 is
definitely it was a good win for me, and that makes 3 in a row there. So
yeah.
alrighty, well, let's take a look at next week meaning this week, and let me tell you, I think we got about three crucial ones, honestly.
Yeah,
And I probably want to start with what I consider the game of the week, and that's between you and Dan. I
yeah,
think that one here for sure is
for sure.
definitely game of the week. Um, and here. So let's take a look here. So Corey, one of the big things for you is having Omarion Hampton potentially back.
Yeah,
Um,
I made that trade.
yeah,
I got Marion Hampton and George Pickens
yeah,
in the same trade for James Cook.
yeah,
Sold high on James Cook. He just had
yeah,
a big week.
yeah,
My biggest thing was I needed a running back, and
yeah.
I knew that you were not looking to hold on to Marion Hampton
No, no,
with his.
I couldn't do it just because I felt a little bit like on the desperate side.
Yeah,
I was worried. I had lost like two in a row, and I was like, oh
yep.
man,
So I
I need to
tried
do
to
something.
I tried to buy low with Marion Hampton.
Yeah,
You know, this is this is why I traded for him
yeah,
for this moment. That's why it
yeah,
makes Rome a little bit more flexible for me.
yeah,
Where I can now I start him at the flex,
yeah.
and guy when he was playing, he's getting 15, 20 touches
Of
a game,
course.
the receiving and passing. Um, that's the reason you traded for him from Shane.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So it's
exactly. Yeah,
so now that he's here, I mean, these are the weeks that I traded for him for. This week, next week, in the playoffs is why I traded for Amari
yeah,
Hampton.
exactly. And you held on to him, which is good. And let's see how he pays off. Honestly, I'm curious to see if they do some type of, you know, maybe the first game they do like a split thing. I mean, he's been kind of working in practice to try to
Yeah,
ramp up, but I'm really curious to see what Harbaugh's approach to his run game really. To see like what
yeah,
they
because
do.
I think once he starts getting his legs in and if he doesn't look slow, I don't think Harbaugh's they're not in the position to not have him out there. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? They're
yeah,
not. You got to look for the future, but also right now. I mean, you guys are playoff bound, but you're also fighting to stay in the playoffs. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
True.
And their offense hasn't been the same without him.
No, that's you're definitely right on that. And if there's any game to really like test them or test the waters, it's against the Raiders. So
Exactly.
that's kind of how you'll get a feel. And just kind of looking at the upcoming schedule with him. You get Philly, KC, then against Dallas, Houston. So got some tough matchups for sure. But I mean,
Well, look what he
it's
did that week one against Kansas City. You know, he put up a the
he put up
that was his
yeah.
that was his first
And
game.
Denver, he had 24, and that's a solid defense. So, you
Yeah, so
know,
he
yeah,
was still splitting carries in those
that's
games.
true. He was.
Not Najee's not there anymore. They still got Vidal, but I don't think it's going to be a split like it is now.
Yeah, they'll probably give Vidal a couple, but I don't just to give like Hampton a break. But I think Hampton will
Yeah,
get the full workload, of course.
yeah, I
So
think he's
we'll really see what happens with that. Honestly, I'm really hoping that he doesn't re-aggravate any injury because you know how those when they come back, mid-season with those types of leg injuries. So we'll see.
yeah. My
But
thing is, they let him sit for a long time. They didn't
yeah,
rush him
that's
back.
true. They didn't.
That's kind of why I'm hoping that it's not. But
Yeah, but we'll just have to see what happens. So that'll be something to watch too for sure. And Dan over here, will we finally see Bucky Irving? I mean, my goodness, this guy, it's really incredible with him because whatever his injury was, like they never, I don't even recall him even getting hurt. Like it was so
yeah,
weird. It was almost just like. And now Dan put in the chat this morning. Will Bucky play? That's a good point.
yeah,
Will he?
because
I
if
mean,
when Bucky plays, he's one of the best
yeah,
backs
he's
in
a great
football.
back. Look at that. Look at the games he's played. I mean,
Yeah,
so and they definitely, and that's what's one of the reasons why Baker had played very well in the beginning too. Like and even
has
especially
that
when he
kind of
became
run.
out because they had Bucky, they could do play action, and stuff, and so. But we'll see what happens there. And let's see. I don't think there's really any bye weeks this week. I don't believe there is. So I think the only bye weeks left are next week. So I think everyone should be at full strength besides injuries this
Yeah,
week. So, but looking at this, if I had to choose who I think is probably going to win, Corey, I think I'm going to lean your side here. For this matchup. Just because you got Pittman, you got Houston, Buffalo here, even
Yeah.
the Rams against Ted. Yeah, that's some pretty difficult matchups to go up against. But you know what? You never know with the. I never trust these percentages to win.
No,
These
I don't.
things.
I don't even look at the
Yeah,
percentages. Honestly, I mean, I think it's a coin flip. How does Dak play against Kansas City's
it's
defense is
true.
going to be. I think is going to be the. I think the quarterback matchup is where the game's going to be decided
Yeah,
between Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott. I
that's gonna
mean,
be a fun one.
that's going to be the big. That's going to be the biggest game of the week, I think, for both of
For
us.
sure.
Because I mean, how our quarterbacks play in there will probably determine how the week goes.
Yeah, for sure. But good luck, gentlemen, and go. Oh, Corey, I guess I'm assuming you're gonna lean your side. I'm not gonna even ask you.
Yeah, I don't usually toot my own horn, but I don't usually expect myself to lose.
Very cool. Okay, another really, I think probably the second biggest matchup here
Oh
is
yeah,
Shane and BMAC here. Very
Shane loses,
split.
he's done.
Yeah, I mean, he does need to. I think he definitely needs to win at least one of the two, but he also needs some help. So he definitely let's just say it's a must win, for
Yeah.
sure. So it's split right now, currently 51-49. Um,
Which way are
it
you leaning?
BMAC taking on Shane here. So looks like BMAC gets Gadsden back, which is nice.
Yeah, he was on a bye last
He had
week.
a bye last week. With Joe Burrow will be playing this week, which is pretty cool to see. We never thought
Hmm.
we would even see him back this season. Obviously, you're going to start Josh Allen though over Burrow. Uh, but yeah, looking at
Yeah,
the
what a jerk off. He's got Josh Allen and picks up Joe Burrow.
hey, you know,
Smart, but
no,
he's a jerk
because
off.
Josh. Be honest, you got to be real. I know Josh is the number one quarterback, but he's had those games where he's thrown picks. Like look at the last three games. He's thrown 5 picks.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be matchup based. I mean, granted, you're never gonna not start Josh, but I mean, I literally just like contradicted myself just there. But
Exactly.
but
Exactly. You're never gonna not start Josh.
yeah, but
If he gets hurt, I guess you
if
gotta
it,
get
yeah,
I
and
guess you.
and you got to think of it's probably smart just for nobody else to pick him up.
No,
So
no, that's what I'm saying. He's
yeah,
smart, but
yeah.
he's a jerk off.
Oh man, I expect Travion to probably have a big day as well, especially going up against the Giants Monday night. So that
I
should,
don't, that's like 50-50. The Giants are, their run defense is, somewhat stout. Their pass defense is where we've
yeah.
been talking about. But we don't have Shane Bowen. Fuck
No,
that guy.
you
I
heard it
can't
first,
believe he had a
everyone.
job. I'm
You,
glad. I'm happy they fired Davo just because he didn't fire Shane Bowen.
you heard it first, guys. And we'll see what happens with CD. Well, hopefully, that'll be an interesting one if he gets. Will he get back to his 20 points a game again? I mean, that we'll see. The
I
coach
hope
said they
not, because
have
I need
plays
George
ran for him,
Pickens.
so I don't know. It'll
I need
be,
George Pickens, baby.
yeah, that's what everyone's saying. So, um, yeah, but overall here, then we'll look over on BMAC's side. We got Gibbs against Green Bay. Definitely a more tougher matchup, but that won't stop Gibbs. Um, Derrick Henry against Cincinnati. We got good Broncos defense against Washington. Whew, I
Oh,
expect a feast. I expect double-digit points for the Broncos
yeah.
defense for sure. Um,
Especially just sacks alone.
yeah, yeah. This one definitely is one of the toss-up matches, to be honest. But just based on like the teams that they're playing, like Chicago, you got Chicago, Cincy, Carolina, like Arizona. I have to go run BMAX side on this one for sure.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, but this one is one of the 50-50 ones for sure.
See, for me, I think this is a BMAC landslide. I think.
BMAC landslide. So you think he's going to like
I think he's gonna.
dominate?
I think he's gonna win by like 15. Yeah, I'd say.
Wow.
I mean, I
You
think
said 15 or
yeah,
50?
15,
Oh, 15.
15.
All right. Well, I guess it's
I
is it
think I think Mbuka is gonna probably have like a 20-point game against Arizona.
okay.
You
Okay.
know, you
Even with
got
that Baker injury.
yeah, I still think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, they didn't even rule him out yet. He's
Yeah,
still
it's on his non-throwing shoulder too.
yeah.
So
I love Quinshawn Judkins. I think San Francisco's run defense isn't fantastic.
yeah, it's definitely questionable too sometimes. Yeah.
And Jameer Gibbs prime time always plays well. And
Thursday at
Jalen
1.
Hurts,
We'll be eating our
Jalen Hurts
turkey and watching him.
exactly. So and then Jalen Hurts, tush push guy. He's against Chicago. You don't expect much. I like Shane's team here, but with the matchups, I think I'd lean. If I was a betting man,
Yeah.
I'd probably say he covers 15.5.
15 and a half. All right, guys. If you ever want to make a side bet with Corey, 15 and a half is the line between
Yeah.
BMAC and Shane. Put something in the comments if you want to take that bet with him. Now, good luck, gentlemen. This is definitely a really important matchup too, especially really for Shane because this is
6-7 looks a lot worse than 7-6 for sure.
exactly, yeah. So we will see what happens. And then moving on to like I guess really the one of the other crucial matchups too. I mean, just kind of like going in the pecking order. Is Nick against Trayvon here, and this is a split 50-50 so far. It looks like.
This is probably, besides me and Dan, one of the tightest matchups I
Yeah,
think.
this is like this is big, especially for Trey. Coming off with that. I call it the upset win as the upset win last week.
Yeah,
He's got a and now
definitely
he gets
this one.
chased back without T. Higgins. So hopefully
Hopefully, it doesn't
that's
spit on anybody.
yeah. Stop spitting on people.
So I
And
didn't
we
spit.
and we don't know about Marvin Harrison. I don't think he's gonna play personally. I really don't.
If I were them,
Um,
I'd just sit him for the rest of the year.
yeah, they maybe. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they wanted the coach says apparently that they want to make sure he's like fully healthy. He doesn't have a timetable. They want to make sure he's
Yeah.
physically and mentally healthy to play. He'll play.
'Cause,
So
yeah, you don't want to get that. You don't want to hit those stitches, before it's healed.
yeah, exactly. So we'll
It
see.
wasn't an injury; it was a medical procedure. All right.
Yes, yeah, it was a medical procedure. So another very unlucky thing to happen to Trey. So very unlucky year, man. That's why that number one pick is very unlucky pick. It just
Yeah,
it just screws you over. It really does. And
Jamar Phillips,
yeah,
that
and I
hurts.
could I could I could vouch for that for last year with CMC. So
I
um,
wouldn't touch that guy with a 10-foot
well,
pole. Now,
it's well,
now he's fucking the best. He's tied for receptions in the fucking league.
yeah, it's insane.
That's ridiculous.
So yeah, here with Rice against Dallas and Chase Baltimore, Bo Nix against Washington. Whew, got some really tasty matchups here for Trayvon.
Yeah.
And then looking at Nick, he does get his guys back off a bye, Achan, Herbert, and Ladd. Whew, wow, there's some also tasty matchups on this side. So this one is, I think, a split 50-50.
Dude, I
I
think JSN's gonna go fucking nuts.
JSN against Minnesota too. I think they said though, and I'm not mistaken, that Minnesota's like the number one something. I don't know what it is against wide receivers, but it's weird. I have to look it up again. But
Yeah.
um,
I think Darnold's gonna have a day against the old team.
Darnold's gonna have a day against Minnesota. I
Like
mean,
he's
yeah,
gonna have a big
I think
fuck
it's
you
gonna be
moment
they're
for
gonna be
letting him
up like
walk.
28-0 again, and then that's what I have a feeling. I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a big fuck you moment for letting him walk.
Eh,
I'm a big Darnold guy.
Revenge game, Darnold
Big
revenge
Darnold guy.
game. I mean,
Huge.
honestly though, he's playing better. Do you think he's playing better now than he was in Minnesota? Because remember in Minnesota, they were what, like 14-3 or something that
Yes,
year?
I mean statistically he's playing better.
Yeah.
I think he finally got comfortable in the NFL. You can't a lot of like look at Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold.
Oh,
There's guys
Daniel
that
was
just
just
can't play in
incredible.
New York. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And
mean, Daniel
it's
Jones.
New York's a tough place to play
Yeah.
because you're always criticized, no matter what you are. Even if you're a Giants fan, if you're not a Giants fan, if you're a Jets fan, you're not a Jets fan. They're the most criticized teams in the league. So I mean, it's hard to be under that spotlight. He went to Minnesota where the spotlight isn't as big, played very well. Then he goes to Seattle. Again, they're a big name team, but their fan base isn't national. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that
So
makes
it's
sense.
so it allows him to just play, and he's got that confidence now where I think Darnold he's still. I mean, look, he had that 4 interception game, but look at Josh Allen. He threw what 3 picks? He's thrown 5 picks in 2 games. So I don't think that
Yeah.
Darnold's playing. I think Darnold's an MVP candidate for sure.
Wow, Darnold MVP can interesting, even over somebody like Drake May or Matt Stafford right now.
I don't think he's gonna win it, but I think he's a
Okay.
candidate.
Oh,
Yeah,
candidate. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't think. I mean, I think it's far and away right now between Matt's dad and JT,
Yeah.
but it's just not a running back. It's a quarterback award, so it's probably.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah. But yeah. So I guess just for the purposes, if I had to actually pick someone,
Oh, this is
this is
tough.
so tough. Um, I think I want to really go Trayvon. Like,
I and what's the difference maker for me is Rasheed Rice going against the Cowboys,
oh,
and
jeez.
that's the matchup for me that I think that puts Trey a little bit over top, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm gonna lean Trey.
Yeah, but this is like I
But
could see this
it's
being.
tough. It's
Yeah. Do they
tough.
have any Monday? Oh, is it? Oh, wow. A lot of guys play. A lot of his guys play Thursday too. So
Yeah,
this could pretty much almost probably be decided by Thursday if his players put up a donut or like his put up like less than
yeah.
like 15.
Oh yeah,
Nick could have an easy Sunday potentially. So,
yeah.
we'll see. He's got a lot of guys on Thursday and. You got a Monday matchup with Hunter Henry, so I mean this will be interesting. I'm really curious to see how this one turns out because this is a very crucial matchup. For Trayvon, honestly, Nick can afford to lose one, I guess, but you don't ever want to lose one.
Yeah. Because I mean, even he's battling with me. If Shane wins, he's battling, and he loses. It makes the thing a lot harder for
Yeah,
Daniel Jones to make the
Daniel
playoffs.
Jones, and oh man, he's having a year.
Well, okay.
And then moving on to our next matchup here is between myself and Vinny. This is definitely a must-win for Vinny for sure.
They're saying it's 50-50,
It's
huh?
50-50. Yeah, it is. It's pretty dead even here. I mean, when you got CMC, is doesn't matter what you're down by.
Yeah, but I
it's
mean, he's going against Cleveland, bro. That Cleveland defense has put the best offenses in check.
yeah. So that'll be interesting. And I got two of the San Francisco guys, so it's a San Francisco battle.
Mm.
And I'll see how with the debut of Rome here. That would be hilarious if he ends up
Can
dropping
we just
20.
take a look? Just go look at his numbers for a second. Look at this. This is just
Yeah,
look at the before his buy, then after his buy.
it's pretty crazy, right?
Completely
I
different
mean,
player.
granted, the four defense. I mean, and not even just the defenses. I mean, like you also went up against Washington Saints. Yeah, he is becoming a lot of a boomer bust, but and he does have some tough matchups. But granted, he's technically still like the wide receiver one on the team when
Yeah,
you think
no,
about
for
it.
sure.
Yeah,
It's just it's been a lot of
I know.
Colston Loveland, Cole Komet,
Yeah, yeah.
Luther
DJ
Burden, DJ
Moore. Yeah,
Moore.
yeah.
These guys
He
are.
spreads the ball around, Caleb, for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't just hold it down to one guy. That's why I mean, if Odunze gets a touchdown, he's putting up more than 15.
For sure, for
It's
sure.
just whether or not I couldn't take that.
No, listen, man, listen. Exactly. I hear you. I totally hear you. And yeah, I'm starting Jacoby Brissett. I don't care. he
Well, I
is,
don't blame you.
he is. He has been
He
throwing that
will
ball.
sling that rock.
Yeah, if he keeps throwing like that, man, whew, Kyler Murray about to find a new job at a new
Yeah.
place. I'm telling you. I mean, granted, the Cardinals stink this year, but I mean, they have nothing to lose, so. Um, so yeah, this should be an interesting matchup here. I mean, Corey, I'm going to let you decide because, I don't want to toot my own horn, as you say. Who would you
Yeah.
lean on for this matchup?
This is tough because I JT's gonna get checked by Houston. I mean
Mm-hmm.
that Houston defense is something I never like. I one of the defenses of all
Yeah,
time,
that
one of
was
the better.
nuts. The way they held,
Like
who did they play on? That was that Thursday night. It was
Josh Allen and the
Josh
Bills.
Allen and the Bills. That's right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you holding
So
Josh Allen in check, then you could hold Daniel Jones in check, right?
and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it's gonna be tough. And then I don't love that you have two Niners playing against Cleveland.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it's I
true.
mean that's just tough. So I'm gonna put the edge to um damn, this is tough, man.
50-50 toss up.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is tough.
I mean,
I think
granted,
I'm gonna lean Vinny. I
okay.
think I'm gonna lean Vinny, but dude, I wouldn't even I'd take Vinny plus one.
Yeah, probably like very close matchup, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I mean, granted, he with his wide receiver injuries, I say if he had London, I would have definitely lost
yeah,
because with London being out this week again, it definitely it helps me because he has to throw in Tyrone Tracy
yeah.
as there, but
And I like Drake May against the Giants pass defense. We'll see how this new DC comes in and plays, but
yeah,
I mean Drake May, that's an MVP candidate as well. He's top
yeah,
three, top four guy.
yeah.
So I mean I would probably lean Vinny. Like I said, I'd take Vinny plus three.
All right. Vinny plus three. I got look at these lines he's giving, guys. He's taking the Vinny plus three. So if you guys want to make a side bet, take Vinny plus three, or you say wait, Vinny minus three. You mean?
No, plus three,
Oh,
plus three.
plus three. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. He's taking Vinny plus
I
three.
don't know. I don't know if he's gonna win. I don't know if he's.
Yeah.
I don't think he loses by more than three. So
Doesn't think he loses by more than three. All right. Well, you hear that, guys? Another side bet you can take. We got 15.5 for who was it? 15.5 for what did we say it was? Oh, BMAC. Yeah, 15 and a
yeah,
half for BMAC and plus three for Vinny.
yeah. Parlay them together.
Yeah. And then our final matchup, which is what we like to know as the
The
toilet bowl
toilet bowl.
matchup, unfortunately. Tybo taking on Ant, and here, well, Tybo, I don't think, has he said, is Jacobs playing this week? He is, right? Okay, so he hasn't set his lineup yet, so, when he does, I'm sure he'll
Jacobs will
throw in
go in for
Jacobs
Algier.
for sure, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Ant, but with the return of potentially Trey Benson, which is finally, Cardinals need some type of running back. I mean, the Bam Knight's been all right, but Trey
Jonathan
is,
Knight, that's Tybo's guy, dude.
yeah, for
Madden
sure.
League legend, Jonathan Knight. Without
um,
out.
but yeah, this matchup here, it's really just I guess it doesn't mean anything because they're both eliminated, so it's more of just like a bragging rights
Hmm.
matchup really, and who to determine who will you
Who's the
know
shittiest of the bunch?
No, stop it. No, it's no, it's for bragging rights and not last place in the regular season. All right.
Yeah, because you never want to finish last because that goes against your
It
legacy
does
score
when
and
you
Shane's.
look at the league history, yeah, and you
Yeah,
don't,
and Shane puts out the legacy boards. I am what they consider the goat in our league so far with how Shane's built it up through
yeah,
different finishes.
yeah,
That toilet bowl can really affect Tybo.
yeah.
He can't go to the he can have a bad year. He can't be the worst in the league though.
No,
That
that's why you
affects the
want to keep
legacy.
playing your guys even in the
Yeah,
consolation games because
yeah,
I didn't do that. I ended up last, and now that's affecting my record last year. So
yeah, and,
I don't like that. So
yeah, and it affects your record and it affects your standing league history,
yeah,
bro. That's a big
exactly.
that's a big we've been doing this for a long time. These.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, but if I'm gonna pick really between the two, assuming Tybo puts in Jacobs or whatnot, um, I would have to lean. I think Ant takes this one. I mean, that Green Bay defense against that's gonna struggle. I think that's gonna be a struggle for Jared Goff. I like
Goofball.
Yeah, I like Olave against Miami too. AJ Brown I think has another really good game against Chicago, so I'll lean Ant here I think on this one.
Come on, Tybo, bring it home, baby. I got Tybo -3.5.
Tybo minus 3.5. Wow. Well, we'll see what happens here, but good luck, gentlemen, and may the best team win.
Yeah, it's
But I do want to look at just because we're going into you know week I do want to do kind of like a future. I haven't done this in previous weeks, but
Yeah,
since we're kind of moving on to our final week next week, I kind of want to get a little matchup look just to kind of
yeah,
like see who's facing who, because this will determine if this week is like. If you're going, in week 14, you're going up against somebody like a strong player, like myself, Dan, some of the tougher matchups. Let's take a look at week 14 matchup, and then just to see who's playing who. And
oof,
yeah, I mean
that
that's gonna be
first
fun. That's
matchup.
gonna be a nice one. I got a rematch against
Yeah,
Dan,
I
and
need you to win that game next week.
yeah, especially because the last time I played Dan, I won by point 0.1.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun one, I think. You
The
know,
Manning household, who comes out on top? Does
yes,
he
yeah,
get this? Does he get the
literally.
sweep?
Did I get the sweep or did we split it? Especially because looking at some of these, like this one here is another one I'm circling. Shane
Yeah.
taking on, you know, I'm going to say Dan, but that's Nick because it's Daniel Jones. Shane taking on Nick as they go on, but then you got, you're taking on Tybo, and then Trayvon's taking on Ant. So some of these wins, like especially between, for for Trayvon taking on having a weaker week 14 opponent, you know these are some
Could be
must
huge.
wins. Dan's definitely got the more difficult rest of season schedule. Playing you and then playing me. So
Yeah.
these, I it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens here, honestly. So I think this one is the one that we're circling, and this one for division
Yeah.
lead. So probably really two ones. So just looking at going back to week 13 again. You know, this is, but like right here though. I mean that one.
That's
That's
the
that's
game.
that's
This is
that's
for the
the game of the
division lead
week.
right here.
That's the division lead, and then looking at week 14, he has to go against me, but then you get like a weaker matchup against Tybo. So
Swift and Flicker.
it's Swift and Flicker. He's got 3 wins. Maybe he'll get 4 and then 5. We'll see.
We hope fucking not. God, if I lose to Tybo in the last week of the season, I'll be sick.
But overall, yeah. Well, guys, I think that'll probably do it for this episode today. Thank you, Corey, for joining me on this week 13 episode here. This is going to be very crucial, pivotal week here. Some people may make it into the playoffs after this week. It may come down to week 14. We're just gonna have to see how it plays out. Thanksgiving matchups; those are always
Mm-hmm.
fun to watch. We got a Black Friday matchup this year, and then we got our Sundays and Mondays games. So all football all week, even Saturday. If you watch college football, then you got Saturday football too. So uh, you got football from Thursday to
There's
Monday.
nothing like this time of year.
Nothing like this time of year. So, Corey, do you have any final thoughts and final words you'd like to say?
Yeah. I just want to say thanks, Kenny, for doing this,
Yeah.
dude. You've been, it makes it, super enjoyable to watch throughout the weeks, and everybody even texts you in the group chat,
Yeah.
looks forward to it. So I mean, it just makes our league even more uh, enjoyable than it
Yeah.
already is with how long we've been doing it. And it's almost like there's a record of it now because it's a YouTube on it and it's video.
Exactly.
So I think you've done a great job with doing that and
Yeah.
bringing people on. So I just want to say kudos to you and thanks for making the league more enjoyable.
Oh, appreciate
And
that, man.
no problem, brother. I just want to let you know there.
Yeah,
So
no, thank you very much. And I definitely will continue doing this next year. And I think I might actually include our Dynasty League next year, just because I started this a little late, in a sense. So
I could be your co-host for the dynasty.
I
I'll be your
may be looking for permanent co-hosts. So we'll have to
Yeah,
we'll have
I'll
to
be your
see.
co-host. We got the same day off, dude. And it works out.
I was only off today, buddy.
I know, I know, I know.
Yeah, but no, we'll definitely we'll figure that out for next year, and then yeah. So it's been a good ride. I've enjoyed doing these, and um, it's we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year, and everyone, good luck. Happy Thanksgiving. Get those
Good luck,
good
boyos.
deals. Black Friday. Get those Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, Christmas shopping, and I
Yes,
hope
sir.
everyone eats some good food, watches some good football, and get those fantasy dubs.
Yes, sir.
All right. Kenny's Corner signing out. Corey, say peace to the people.
All pro Eagle, out of here.